What's up, guys? Welcome back to Baggage Claim. It's a place where we're creating community and some conversations around marriage, life, and everything in between. This is episode two,
It's part two.
part two. Yeah,
Yeah.
not episode, but part two on forgiveness. If you haven't listened to the first one,
You
hit
probably you,
pause.
you probably should.
No, you hit, yeah, hit pause, go back,
28.
listen to the first one on forgiveness, and then come back and join us because we're going to jump right back into the story.
Yeah, I
That
was
way,
telling a big part of my story,
right.
and
And
how
that,
I've experienced forgiveness.
yeah. And so we're going to jump back into that. And at that point in the story, when we kind of left off the last episode, you're in the judge's chambers. You had
Mm-hmm.
decided to say, I'm not pressing charges. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not seeking anything toward the family.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had 8 months leading up to this
Yeah,
moment.
6 or 8
So,
months now. As I said, some of my memories are fuzzy, but it had been some months. It was 6 or 8 ish, to wait for the state patrol investigation of the accident.
and so you said you knew the family,
I
you knew
did.
them.
I worked with the wife at our school, and it was her husband who was the one who actually accidentally hit TJ.
And so what was your interaction with them, or had you had any interaction with them for
Yeah.
the last 6 to 8 months?
Well, she and I continued to work together.
Right.
It was weird. It was really awkward because we were a small school at that point. All of us knew one another. It was a very much like close knit community.
Yeah.
And so she was the school nurse, and I worked in the library. So most of the students frequented, both of our areas, and the families. I mean, all it was a close knit community for a school
Yeah.
because we were new.
Right.
And so, yeah, we did the best we could. Um, she took some time off. Um, I only took a couple weeks off from work because I knew that the best thing for my kids was to get back to kind of a routine. But I had the blessing of being in the library, so if one of us or all three of us were having a hard day, we could go home,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we interacted daily, and we saw each other's kids daily and that kind of thing. So yeah.
So for them, for 8 months, they had no idea if charges were being pressed or anything. Did they have a
Hmm.
lawyer? Were they seeking anything like from that point? Do
You
you
know,
know
I
that?
don't. I honestly don't know. I'm sure that from like a, I guess it was their auto insurance would have been involved. I'm sure that there was probably some legal representation that way for protection for them,
Right.
but I don't know.
Gotcha.
I didn't interact with that at all.
Okay. So you're in the judge's chambers. You tell
Yeah.
them you're not seeking charges. So what happens?
What happens then?
Yeah. So what's next? You said that
Um,
because you told us that wasn't the end of the story. So
no, yeah. I honestly, I don't. I probably had to sign some sort of affidavit there, like a legal situation,
yeah.
saying that that's my decision, um, and maybe, maybe the family heard it from some attorney situation, but I, I remember having a conversation with the wife, um, telling her, "No, I've decided not to press charges."
Okay. So you can't just you can't just throw that out and say we had a conversation and I said
uh,
you got to give us a little bit more detail.
well, I mean, both parties knew, myself and the family of the man that hit TJ. We knew that that was the day that of the meeting that I was meeting with the DA and the judge and all those
Gotcha.
folks. So they knew that was kind of like the day. Um,
So leading up to that, did they ever like
she
did
did.
okay.
Yeah, she asked me multiple times, and I just kept saying I'm not ready to talk about it because I just knew that that was not, there was no need for her to know my thought process, because my thoughts would go from up until I was ready to make my decision. My thoughts would go from, of course, he needs jail time because this is what happened to my family, to no, he does not,
Right.
because it was an accident. I mean, and according to, what minute it was and what emotion I was feeling at that point, I had not made the choice yet to forgive, to and decide to move forward. So I just kept telling her, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. And there were a time or two where it just kind of was like, you got to stop. And I had, friends with the administration and that kind of thing. And they would, kind of step in. It's like, you need to give Jess a minute, don't
Yeah,
just,
because you can. I mean, looking back, hindsight.
yeah,
Like I don't want to diminish either side of this, but
right.
like at the same time too, she's working with the lady who's kind of deciding the fate
Of
of
their,
her family and her
mm-hmm,
husband
mm-hmm,
and what's going to happen from them. So
mm-hmm,
for 6 to 8 months of anxiety of knowing, is he going to go away to jail for years? Am I going to
right.
be a single mom? Am I going to be doing this on my own?
Mm-hmm,
There's all that, and then on your side, there's the hurt, there's the frustration, the pain of
mm-hmm.
saying, I am a single mom. I
Yeah,
am doing this on my own
yeah,
now, and I don't get a choice. So there's got to be that. I mean, you're wrestling all these
I
emotions and
was.
feelings.
And I had, there was family members and friends and outside folks, trying to give their opinion and what they thought was right. And, not everybody agreed with my choice in the end, but
That why do you think that was? Why do you think?
I think human nature is, you hurt me, I want to hurt you.
Hmm, yeah,
Um,
that's about right. Yeah,
you know, um, but I just, and it's not, I know that my choices are not normal, quote unquote normal, or what most folks would do, because when I looked at my two little kids, I'm gonna cry,
it's okay.
um, when I looked at my little kids who were suffering and hurting, and trying to understand what was happening, I couldn't really stomach the thought of me making the choice to make somebody else's children feel that way,
Hmm,
because it was an accident. Once I knew 100% it was an accident, um, I couldn't stomach just being the one to make that choice. You know,
yeah,
uh, you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you, was not even a, it wasn't a consideration.
wow, wow.
I know that's not normal, but
It's a huge thing though. I think if we all kind of had enough time to just
mhm,
stop and take a breath and have that idea,
maybe. And
it'd be a
in the
lot
long
different.
run, I mean, 15 years later, in the long run, I'm grateful that I had to wait for that report.
That you didn't
So
have a knee jerk because you feel like if you would have had to decide,
immediate,
yeah, it would have been a different
literally immediate, it
response.
would have been a whole different response, because, I was hurting, I was mad, it was all the things.
Well, I'm sure you're still even fighting that 8 months later. You're fighting that years later, probably. Like
Not
still,
not now, no, but it took a lot of years to kind of work through that.
because I mean, some people have the idea too, like if you don't press charges, you're almost disrespecting TJ, or that's not
Oh,
fair to
I
him.
heard that. People told me that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Family told me that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, if that's what you thought, then number one, you didn't know TJ,
Mhm.
because he would never wanted me to do that. And also, you don't know me, because that's not the kind of person I am. I've never been that kind of person. I've never been an intentionally ugly person ever.
Hmm.
I mean, even now, like I had people tell me that.
Wow. It's crazy because I've never walked that journey. I've never walked that. For
Mm,
me to tell you what you should and shouldn't do is
yeah.
ridiculous to me. It seems crazy that people would do that, but people
Oh, they did.
they make decisions that are hurt that aren't always good ones and healthy ones.
Yeah.
So I
And this part of the story is most of the time this is the hard part for me to share. I mean, there's a lot of hard parts, but I don't want it to come across as I'm such a good person because this or that, or I'm the nicest person because of this. But um, that was hard. That
oh
was hard to get to that point, and it felt like a relatively fast timeline to get to that point.
yeah. Yeah, 6 to 8 months to walk through, you walk through and be there in 8 months
Yeah.
seems extremely fast.
I mean, to go from I couldn't, I was not the person, I couldn't verbalize the words to tell my kids that their dad died. I couldn't say it. I had to get somebody else to tell them. To be the one to say out loud, I'm not pressing charges. It was an accident. That is, in just a handful of months, that's huge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But I mean, that wasn't my strength. That was my faith that I drew on. Um, I, it's wild bringing up these emotions this many years.
It's okay. It's okay though.
I know, but it's just wild.
Yeah. Because we have several times over the last 13 years we've been married. I'm at 13 in next month.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it's
is. Yeah,
crazy.
next month.
Um, like I've asked you lots of questions about TJ. I've asked you lots of questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think just empathy for what you went through and who you are now and to see who you are now and how you see life is beautiful. It shows the power of forgiveness
Yeah,
in such a beautiful way. It is that beautiful picture of how God forgives us for things in our life. It's like
yeah,
you forgave him when, not to be mean, but he didn't deserve it,
yeah.
but you gave it anyway. And how that freed you to, I'm not saying like, look where you're at now, but
I know.
it's like, look what awaited you on the other side. I remember one night I came. This is when Jess, you'd went to bed early, and I had stayed up late and was watching TikTok. Surprise, surprise! I know.
It's a typical
Um,
night around here.
yeah, and so I was probably watching YouTube golf and got distracted by TikTok.
Probably, yeah.
And then I go across this honor walk, and if you don't know what that is, it's when someone is an organ donor at the hospital, and these people had lined the hallways, and they're wheeling this person through the hallway,
Mm-hmm.
and like everybody's clapping, they're cheering, and some people are, and the family's walking with them,
Yeah,
and man, I am just wrecked,
yeah,
like I'm emotionally wrecked watching this TikTok,
yeah,
and then I remember, I think it was I told you, I think it was the next morning, I was just like,
yeah.
I saw this video, and I told you, and you go, yeah, I did that. And immediately I felt this just brokenness for, I was like, I never even thought of that. I never
Yeah.
even thought that you had walked, that's something you had walked through, something emotionally. Because just me watching, I didn't even know the guy that they're wheeling down the hospital, and I'm an emotional wreck
It's
watching it.
it's horrible.
And when you did that, I was like,
Well, it's horrible and it's beautiful at the same time.
okay, do you
Yeah. Well,
can you want to share that? I mean, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
not
Well,
to ask, but
okay. Well,
I feel like it's almost an, because there's some things too for me, like I love you and I love Thomas and I love Aaron just like their mom. I
yeah,
do.
you
I
do.
treat them the same way I do Callie and Cody. I
Yeah.
love them the same way they are. And I also too want to honor TJ, and I know TJ would be so proud of who they are.
He would.
But at the same time, it's like I want to know his stories. I want to honor him. I want him to be honored
And
and what
that's
his legacy of
good
Thomas and Aaron.
gracious, this is an emotional conversation. And that's one of the things that's, and you and I've talked about it. It's such a delicate balance between good gracious, let me get control of myself.
It's okay.
It's such a delicate balance of honoring him and being proud of what we had and our babies, and also being proud of what you and I have. I don't want either thing to be diminished in any way.
And we've worked really hard
We
not to do
have
that.
worked really hard, and you have been very helpful, even in the first, you know, 5 or 6 years of our marriage, helping me know that it's okay to talk about TJ. And so we have worked on that really hard, because I mean it's important for Thomas and Aaron.
Yeah.
Because good gracious, would he be proud of those kids? Um. So the honor walk thing. Um, because of the nature of TJ's accident, um, there was only 2 organs that were salvageable: his liver, and I'm pretty sure his heart. I'm not 100%. Um, so when the accident happened, because he was an organ donor on his license, they kept his body on life support, until there's a company. I don't know for sure they're still a thing, but at that point there was a company called LifeLink,
Yes.
and they would literally link lives
Mm-hmm.
with the organs and the recipients that needed them, on the donor transplant list. And so the folks that were representing their company at that time
Thanks.
were absolutely fantastic. It was a young man and a young lady, and they were precious, and they were so well trained. And it was actually me and TJ's mom. We were in this little room together, and we met with them. And I don't remember all of the conversation other than whatever was salvageable is what they would use. And like I said, I know it was 2 organs for sure. And so when the donation day is what they call it, came around, I don't remember how many days it was after. And so, yeah, that whole walk of honor, or I mean, they roll the bed or whatever, it's a real thing. And
It's a
so
real emotional thing.
it was awful,
Yeah.
just to be honest with you,
Yeah.
as the widow. It was awful.
Mm.
Um, I did not find joy in that. I didn't find joy that there was somebody that was going to be able to, their lives would improve for that moment, just because of how I got to where that was.
Well, that's an honest.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an honest, real
it
feeling for
was
where you were
awful.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Has that changed by now,
no,
though?
no.
You still not happy that
Well, I
his
mean,
honor,
okay.
his organs helped somebody?
Okay. So my initial response of no was, I got a letter, like a year after, from a recipient's daughter, grown up, of how her father could be a part of a grandchild's life and this and that. It's such a strange feeling. Um, I mean, I guess it was probably the definition of the word bittersweet.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm happy for them, but I'm bitter for myself. I was still bitter then.
Yeah.
Um, that was hard.
Yeah.
That was real hard.
Oh, well, yeah.
um, so
It's crazy how someone's it's this crazy thing in life where someone's death actually gives life to
True.
someone else, and then us as humans, when we're on the receiving end of that, it's hard for us to see the person that the sacrifice that it took for us to get that life.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, I
so
still have the letter somewhere in the keepsake box of TJ stuff that we have.
yeah.
Um, that was hard, and there's been a lot of hard parts of that whole journey. A lot of hard parts, and that was a biggie. That was a big one.
Well, yeah. So there's so much here that, and I again, this is a lot for you to share, and I appreciate you because I know it is very emotional. Um, and we're pretty laid back, happy go lucky people.
We are,
So,
believe it or not, if you're
but
listening to this.
so, but also too,
And this is hard for me to share. Um, not, I mean, it's hard to rehash some things, yes. But it's hard for me to share in a way that feels, I mean, I think transparent is pretty much how I describe it, but I don't ever want it to come across of I'm better than you because this is how I dealt with it.
yeah,
That's very important to me. I don't, I would never wish my journey on anybody. I never would. Um, I mean, this many years later, there's still things that come up. I mean, as much as we love Lucy Grace, our grandbaby, she's a year old, a whole year old now. That's our grandbaby.
yeah,
And then there's still folks that are like, will bring up, oh, TJ would be so happy to know he has a grandchild. Or, are there any Patillo features that you see? Or, I mean, oh, well, shouldn't have said their last name, but are there any
I think people can figure this out
are
though.
there
It's not
any
that
are
difficult.
there any family traits that you see in her and things like that? It still comes up.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. But it's also too, I think here's the part where, and you and I have talked about this, so I'm going to say it
Yeah.
because you don't have to say it, and you can disagree with me on the microphones because I know how you really feel. But like when you're at this crossroads, or you're
Yeah.
at this place, and you get to choose to forgive, or you
Yes.
choose not to forgive,
Yes.
you it's almost like, as crazy as it is, you pick a side. You either become a victim
Oh,
or you become
yes.
a victor. And
Yes.
then if you're not careful and you don't deal with that, that becomes your identity of who you are. And you toting around this forgiveness weight, and that becomes like who you are. That's your identity. Like you could have been just the widower who, it's a horrible situation what you did. And it
Yeah.
doesn't, I know because some people would say the fact you moved on was almost like, well, you disgraced TJ.
Oh, people did say that to me.
Because I met TJ a couple of times, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
Because
It's
he was a
fun
youth
though.
pastor while I was a youth pastor.
Yeah.
Really cool dude. And I would know probably at the same sense he'd be like, that's not what he would say at all.
I know that's what he would say because, or not say, or whichever.
Mhm.
Yes, because he lost his father at a very young age. He was 15 when his father died. So we literally had this conversation multiple times
Yeah.
of what he wanted for me if that happened to him. And so I know without a doubt that he would be proud of me. And that's hard to say.
Why?
I don't know.
I'd be very proud of you. The way
He'll
you
be proud of
processed
me.
and moved through, because I mean, this was a high school sweetheart you were married to
I'll
for.
say it's hard to say because I've never said it out loud before.
Mm,
He'll be proud of me.
yeah.
He'll be proud of how I've done everything. He'll be proud of how I raised Thomas and Aaron by myself. He'll be proud of who I chose to help me with that. It's probably the first time I've said that out loud.
Well,
And he'll be proud of me.
yeah.
And I know that.
Yeah. I think people who who know you, Jess, who have met you, would would just say you have this energy about you that is so attractive in the sense of you everybody likes you. Like everybody just wants to be around. They enjoy being around you. They enjoy, and I 100%
Maybe not
believe
everybody.
99% of the people, 99.8% of the people, because there's always someone. But I think it all goes back to this because it shows your heart.
Yeah.
Like this is who Jess really is. This is Jess's heart, and the heart of it is forgiveness and love and
That's
forgiveness
what I was
and
about to
all of
say.
that.
This is not a woo, Jess is the greatest person ever. No. I made a really hard choice a long time ago to forgive. And that's just from that point on is how I've lived my life. Um, and it makes little things seem so insignificant. I mean,
Well, you talked about we're talking about forgiveness in the sense of like this is a
huge.
huge thing.
Yeah.
Yes, like man, I hope there's a if they're out there and you're listening to this and you've walked through
I am
this,
so sorry. And please message me so I can talk to you.
yeah. But in the same sense, it just goes to show you, no matter what you walk through, there's forgiveness is always a choice,
Yeah.
and it's always something you get to choose to move forward. And if you do, there's a lot of freedom on the other side of
It's
that.
a lot of freedom. And I know when I talk about you, I talk about you like you are literally the greatest thing in the whole wide world. Because
You
that,
do. You are like the ultimate hype man for me, and I appreciate that.
yeah,
I do.
I
It really helps
literally,
me.
you hung the moon in my
Which,
eyes.
yeah, which is not really true, but I appreciate you feeling that
But
way.
that I don't want for people. I'm gonna cry again. I don't want for people to have to walk through something so just such a tragedy to be able to experience the freedom of what forgiveness feels like. Um, it should not take a huge life altering event for you to realize if your husband leaves a mess or if your kids don't put their shoes where they go or like little things like that to not seem like such a big deal because they're not. Like after my whole journey and once I decided to forgive and I had the opportunity to to go through counseling and time to pass and I would hear again, this is not I'm so much better than you. I would hear women complain about their husbands. Well, he can't even put his underwear in the hamper or he leaves dirty socks everywhere or there's empty water bottles all over the house. I would get so angry, and I was ugly to lots of people, and I did apologize to lots of people. But I'm like, at least he's there to do it.
Yeah,
Because in the grand scheme of things, you can put the water bottle in the trash can for him, or you can pick up the dirty clothes and toss them in the hamper for him, and it doesn't have to be a thing.
yeah.
Everything is not a thing
Mm.
because at least he's there to do it.
Well, it's a different perspective. Yeah,
That's my perspective.
I don't like leaving my clothes laying around
I
though.
know you don't. And
I do leave. There are certain things that I know probably would drive normal people crazy that you don't like. Again, like in the first episode or 1 or 2 episodes ago, I still have my stuff from the golf trip sitting on the
bathroom
bathroom
counter.
counter that
Yeah.
I'm just using my bathroom bag. I'm just working out of it instead of
And
putting it into the drawer.
it's been days.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't, it's okay with me. I'm okay with it. And you're kind of like, okay with it too. Like you
Well,
could give me a hard time
because
about it,
I
but you
could.
don't.
I'm gonna cry. But you came home.
Yeah.
You're here.
Yeah. And that may seem, a- as crazy as it is, that may seem very trivial and silly to people.
But it's not to me.
Yeah. Until you experience the person you love doesn't come home
Yeah.
and you get that knock or you get the phone call. And
Yeah.
that's what we've always said. Like, that's why in the morning I get up and I make coffee for you in the morning
Yeah.
and I give you a hug and I kiss you in the morning because I'm like, who knows if that's the last time we
Yeah,
ever
we
see each
might not
other.
come home.
Yeah, if we get a knock or we get a phone call and everything changes. And so it's like sometimes you can look at life that way and it can be daunting, but it
Yeah.
also can be very refreshing. Yeah.
All right, so I got a question for you.
Is
So in
it
this,
is it gonna make me cry?
I hope not. Probably not.
I'm trying to get control of myself.
Um, in this time frame, however long it was, we're talking about forgiveness. We're
Yeah.
talking about the struggles that come along with that, the hurts and the scars and the pain that comes through that. And this might be a multi-tiered question, but we have already covered some of it, such as forgiving the the man who ran over TJ, having
Yeah.
those wrestlings and those struggles. Was it something that you were able to forgive immediately?
No.
So it took time, and I say that because I've experienced things not what you've been through,
No, but you've experienced hurt.
and it's not easy to forget right
No, it
away.
is not. No. I became a Christian when I was 12. But I grew up in church, and I grew up. I mean, just kind of right. I wasn't necessarily raised in a Christian household, but I was raised in a Christian family, and so that was just kind of a way of life. Um, and so it wasn't like this big idea that I had nothing, no knowledge of, and so I knew what forgiveness meant. Um, but it's interesting because although my relationship with Jesus is a personal thing, um, it's more abstract, I guess, because it's not a physical in my face, and so when it became a physical in my face, um, a choice whether or not to forgive, and I don't even know. Well, I do know it was God putting those thoughts in me of just to forgive, to be able to move forward. But my counselor also, helped me with that too. I knew within myself and my heart that I had to be able to reach that point of forgiveness to be able to keep moving forward.
Yeah. So, question, and this may be just at least the perspective I'm seeing this story unfold,
Right.
because even I'm learning
You're
things
still
I've
learning.
never
Yeah.
known
Well,
about
it's
you.
not something we talk about often while we're hanging out.
No, yeah, for sure. In those seasons of life where you couldn't find yourself forgiving,
Yeah.
even though you knew God was calling you towards that, how would maybe one, what did you do that helped lead you to forgiveness?
Right.
But secondly, there's a lot of people who do have a hard time forgiving. I've had hard times forgiving, even when I know it's what I should do.
Right.
Whether it be something as traumatic as what you've been through,
Right.
or whether it be something where someone's not putting their dirty laundry in a basket or
Right.
leaving water bottles around. How would you walk someone through helping find forgiveness in their own heart to share?
So for me, my grandmother.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, nanny.
Oh, Nanny. My grandmother, who we lost almost, this has been 2.5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So Nanny, good gracious. Again, I can't control myself. Nanny was the one um, who daily walked. I say not just Nanny. My parents did too, and TJ's mother. Um, Nanny was retired already at that point, and so Nanny walked with me day by day. Um, she was also a really big influence of my Christian walk, and so she was just grit. And so when it was hard, she would help me. Jesse, what are you going to choose? What are we going to choose today? We're going to, she would literally make me say out loud, what am I choosing today? What are we doing today? What choices are we going to make today? So she was a really big influence on. She's a huge influence on who I am in general. Um, but then I always went back to my faith of, although I became a Christian at such a young age and I didn't experience like a that whole like gutter to glory testimony, I was just like, if God can forgive humanity for all of these awful things, including me, like why can I not forgive too? Um, and that's not a natural thought process to have, but that's the thought process I had. Um, I had to just keep choosing it over and over and over again, and it was not a natural choice. I was mad, and I stayed mad for a long time, um, several months. And I feel like that was rightfully so. I feel like it was righteous anger at that point. But I just had to keep choosing, and I had little faces looking at me and watching the choices that I was making. And Erin Grace was little bitty. She had just turned 6 not too long before that, and so. But Thomas was older, and I think that mine and your relationship with Thomas reflects a lot of what he saw me go through. Um, and I just had to keep choosing to forgive and choosing what I felt like was right, even though it didn't feel good.
That's good.
And that's a big part of it. You have to choose what's right, even when it hurts. And there was a lot of hurt.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So I think choosing forgiveness and choosing to move past that hurt is those things that keep you from being the victim and allow you to be.
Oh, I refused to be a victim right away.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who walk through what you walk through and they're stuck there,
They are.
and it's really really sad.
Yeah.
um because it's an easy, I mean,
That's the
I'm
easy
not saying
choice. The easy.
I'm not saying it's easy by any means, hear me out.
No,
I'm
no, no.
saying it, when you get stuck there, if you stay there long enough, you're going to get stuck, and then
In my opinion, on the route I chose, getting stuck and letting yourself be the victim is the easy choice
hmm.
because you just sit in it.
And so that goes with whether it's a big thing or it's a small thing.
Yeah.
Like you can choose to be the victim and say, I should be, I should do this, or I should get this, or I should get that. Because usually when forgiveness comes in, there's I in front of those statements instead of, it's a little different.
Yeah, it is.
So it's I and me. But wow. Okay. So, man, so unpack. Let's talk about it. Let's give some unpack.
Oh my.
To, I mean, we've been, this is the wrap up the second episode,
Yeah.
and
Of
talk,
2 very heavy and emotional episodes.
about some things to unpack. The biggest thing for me would be, I want to, the first thing I think of, the first thing comes to mind is, hey, forgiveness is a decision for you.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you
what I
get
was
to
gonna
make
say
that
too.
decision.
Yeah. I was
Whether
gonna
it be
say
big
that
or
too.
small.
Forgiveness is a choice.
Yeah. And so whoever it is that's hurt you or whatever it is that they've went through, if it's this, man, start the process of healing, and the healing and the forgiveness is for you, not for them.
That's
And
true.
so it's a start to lay this down. I know they did an episode, good Lord. I see my life in episodes now since we're doing a podcast, but okay. The Brian at church did a sermon and we
He
talked
did.
about forgiveness. He gave some good points on things. Do you want to read through some of those
I do.
just really quick?
I do.
I know because you took notes.
I did, and I'm holding my church notes in my hand. Thank you, Brian Hall. Um, it Forgiveness is a choice, and we've talked about that a lot. And it's a hard choice because forgiveness is limitless too. You can't set boundaries on your forgiveness.
Yeah, so true.
I probably, if I had different thoughts at that point in my life, I would have wanted to set boundaries. But
Yeah.
and forgiveness also is without attachments.
Mm,
I will forgive you if.
yeah.
No, that's not how forgiveness works.
Yep.
When you forgive, you give up the right to get even. And I did that.
You
And
did.
again, I am not being boastful. Please hear the humility in this because, and I told producer Michael and I told Greg, I have a hard time sharing parts of this because I don't want it ever to come off with I'm so much better because this. Because this has been hard, hard, hard.
I think that's the thought in your head. It doesn't come off that way.
Okay,
So
well.
let's move on.
So you give up the right to get even, and when you choose to forgive, that doesn't mean you turn off the hurt.
No.
I mean, with the emotion that's coming out of me and
15 years later.
yeah, 15 years later, and the emotion that's coming from Greg, having he didn't witness me walking through that, but we've talked about it enough to where he feels that hurt with me. Um, you just because you choose to forgive does not eliminate the hurt, and it does not eliminate the experience that you went through. A lot of people need to hear that too. When you choose to forgive, that doesn't mean you're choosing to forget.
No.
Or it eliminates that happened, or the event or the trauma wasn't real. That is not the same thing.
You're
That is
choosing not to let it weigh you down and hold you
that's
down.
that is the difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's some good things from just preach, Jess. Come on now.